Juan Mendez Scott's #1 fan. Chapter 3. Kim, my roommate Drew said. It's on. I sprinted out of my bedroom and into the living room. Drew, one of my best friends since our days at Prince George's Community College, was sitting up on our chocolate petri couch, a couch that looked like something out of a movie from the 1960s. She had her feet up, her eyes glued to the TV with a slight grin on her face. I plopped down onto the couch beside her, and then my eyes were glued to the TV as well. My baby was on TV giving a press conference about the new $100 million deal he had just signed with the Washington Wizards. I was so excited I couldn't sit still, almost rocking back and forth. The cameras were flashing like crazy around Sydney as he sat there at the mic, looking so cute. I wanted to jump through the TV and do him right there on the press table. Drew Jones had a strong face, with big, brown, seductive eyes that were good for staring at you, which is what she did a lot. And she had the smoothest chocolate complexion with the smell of sugar vanilla coming out of her pores. When she talked, she sounded like a little girl with a high IQ, and she had a calm, bubbly attitude that I loved. We both worked in the D.C. government in different buildings, me for the IRS and Drew for the Federal Reserve Board. Earlier, like most evenings and nights, Drew and I were sipping on wine, hanging out on the balcony of our 5th-floor apartment. We talked and laughed, looking out at the Northampton Lake that sat behind our building. Our V-shaped building, Lake Arbor Towers, stood tall over the middle upper-class neighborhoods of Mitchellville, sitting on Lake Arbor Way. We were right off Central Avenue, not far from D.C., and right down the street from Six Flags. Drew had the house smelling good after cooking up a pot of her secretly seasoned hot wings, a recipe she got from her mother. And I couldn't wait to grab a bowl and grab about 6 or 7 of them. It was scorching hot outside and the air was on and it was just right. Not too cold and not too hot. I grabbed the remote and turned up the TV, drowning out the sounds of the cars racing up and down Central Avenue so that I could hear my baby talk about his $100 million. Sidney cleared his throat before he spoke. This is a happy and exciting day for me. And my family. Yeah, I said, smiling and nodding my head. I bet it is. The new contract that I just signed today with the Wizards is what I was looking for, was what I wanted. And I'm glad it's all over with so that I can concentrate on basketball in the season coming up. Personally, I'm glad I will be finishing out my career with the Wizards. Me and my wife are happy here and have made a home here. So that works well for us. Like I said, I'd like to thank the organization and the fans, and right now I'm going to work hard with my fellow teammates and bring championships to DC. Thank you. I grabbed the remote controller and pointed it at the TV like a gun, turning it off. I leaped up from the couch, smiling all over the place. I was so excited. Drew just sat there shaking her head and grinning. $100 million in the next 6 years, I said, walking over to the balcony and looking out at the middle-class neighborhoods of Mitchellville, Maryland, with high hopes and big dreams. Lord, what in the world is Sydney going to do with all that money? Drew asked, staring at the TV as if it was still on. I turned back to Drew, and I know I had a slick, devilish smile on my face. I could feel it. Give it to me, I said with confidence. That $100 million, along with the millions he's already got, is going to take care of me for the rest of my life. I heard that, Drew said, her little girl voice sounding like a captain of a cheerleading squad. So how do you plan to pull it off, especially with him being married? Get pregnant, I said, sitting back down beside Drew, shrugging, confident that my plan was not going to be hard to accomplish. The oldest trick in the book, Drew said, grinning with an eyebrow raised. It still works. I'll get pregnant, go public with it, and ruin his marriage. Then I can have him all to myself. Then his wife will get half. Then you have to share your half. I sat there a moment, staring into the screen of the TV, thinking about it. Drew was right. I shrugged. He'll still have gobs of money left, I said. Yeah, but, girl, if you're going to do it right. I paused for a minute and looked at Drew. What do you mean, do it right? Well, you just called Debbie and told her that you were his #1 fan and that you would kill her in a week if she didn't move out. I cracked up laughing, falling back into the couch and clapping my hands. Just keep playing the role of the stalker, Drew said. What? To ruin his marriage? Drew stared deep into my eyes, dead serious, scaring me. No, to stalk and kill her. I never knew Drew to be vicious. I stared at Drew, giving it all some thought, struggling not to laugh in her face at such a crazy-ass idea. Girl, I'm not trying to go to jail for murder now. But Kim, you wouldn't be charged with the murder, the stalker would. I could feel my eyes growing big across my face at Drew's brilliant idea. Drew stayed serious as she continued with her idea. Yeah, you leave all the blame on the #1 fan. That way the police won't hound Sydney thinking he had something to do with it. The #1 fan would take all the blame and you could move right on in from there. Girl, that's a brilliant-ass idea. But we're talking about murder. And besides that, if I'm the #1 fan, then the #1 fan looks like me. Not exactly. I leaned back and looked at Drew, wondering where she was going with this.